The patient shows up and you're like, hey man, I've been on nitrous for 6 hours before you got here. What do you say you try some? Let's get your teeth drilled. What do you think? In Maryland, people want all the gas. So if you were to push this down really tight and take away the air gap that's around here, the suction doesn't know. The suction is going to pull the gas that's in the mask. It's going to open that valve and take away the gas that the patient's trying to breathe, and the bag's going to go flat. That won't work. The patient won't feel anything. See the little disc is opening up? Hi, it's MedGas Mark. If you stay to the end, I'll show you exactly how to test your breathing circuit for leaks and your bag. And what that's doing is sending the exhalated gas from this into where the suction is in the outer hood. The outer hood is where the suction is. You see that the inner mask touches all the way around, but the outer hood has an air gap around my nose. You don't just jam it in there like this. Oh, hey, guess what? That's not gonna do it, pal. We're gonna snap them in place. Did you hear the snap? I heard the snap. And we put them on the hose. This is the coaxial tubing. You can only put this on one way right. I mean, take a look at it. If it doesn't look like it's right, it's probably not right. Just take a look at it real close like. Are you the patient? Are you the person we're putting the gas on? Okay, I don't know. Am I? We place it on the patient's face like this. Oh, wow, it works. See? So now I've got an air gap between the inner mask and the outer hood, and that means that the suction can be pulling room air around the mask so that when the patient breathes out through their nose, that little disc on the inner mask opens and lets the exhalated gas go out into the room.
No, not the room. It's going out into the suction, pal. The suction.
We're trying to scavenge the gas away. We don't want to get the gas unless it's a Friday and we're like,
Hey, breathe directly into my mouth. Hi, patients. How are you?
it's not working because there's no gas flowing, Mark. What are you doing?
There's nothing flowing.
When we place this on the patient's face, we want to make sure that that thing is clicked in on both sides. Click, click. And we also want to make sure that that little disc is in place, because if it isn't,
They're not going to feel a drop.
See how easily I can pull that out? Then you see one of these? It's not gonna work like that. We stretch this, we take the little stem, we push it back through. Click! You see that click? Now it's back in. It's a smooth front. Boom. We're gonna place it inside the outer hood. It says adult down in there. Trust me, you can't read it. And it says adult in the bottom of this, but it doesn't matter.
You can't see it.
It snapped
Over there too. What do you mean, Mark? I didn't hear any snap. I heard you go.
Let's put it in 6 liters of oxygen.
It's just oxygen. It's okay.
See, when I breathe out, it's opening that valve and pushing the gas out into the suction area. The suction area is where it's taking it away and
Pushing it out of the building. That's where the birds are waiting for the nitrous.
People want things quick. Subscribe. If you think this content is great, give it a like. Somebody else can find it on the internet. You know what I'm saying?
All right, thanks.
So let's take a look at how can we update this breathing circuit and make it better so that it's not such a jacked up mess. These rubber goods have been around since before the dawn of time. This is jacked up. Look how it pinches off. We don't want that. Okay, let's change this breathing circuit and make it better than it was before. Let's make it up to date. This is called the fresh gas tubing, and it'll kink off like that, leaving you with no flow of gas. We're going to use the new style, fresh gas tubing. It's now autoclavable. If it looks like this and it's from Porter, it's the new autoclavable version. So now the entire Porter breathing circuit is autoclavable. Putting the 22 millimeter on the bag tee and the hose on the other side. To the Y adapter that goes to the coaxial tubing. This is called coaxial tubing from Porter. And those are couplers at the end. So just slip it on. The new setup. New bag, elbow, fresh gas tubing, coaxial tubing, and mask. we stuck around till the end, so I'm going to show you how to check your system to see if you have a leak. When the gas is pushing on the bag and making this little non-rebreathing valve, makes it flutter. It goes, ooh, and that's not what we want, but it doesn't matter. It's not hurting anything. It's just the way it is. Don't worry about it. Push the flush button. The bag's not going down. That's proven there's no leak in this system as long as your fingers are tight on those end pieces, right? So it's all closed right now. It's a closed circuit. So the way we test for a leak is we push the flush button till the bag is full, and boom, shakalaka, there's no leak. You see that? I've got, everything is closed off. It's a sealed circuit, including the emergency air intake valve, which is here on the top of the bag tee. By holding these, you hear it come out? Mark, what if we find that it doesn't stay full? The bag doesn't stay full. Then what do we do? Oh, okay, I'm glad you asked. We're gonna close it off here. Then we're gonna do that test again. So now we're saying, okay, all of this tubing and the bag is good. And what if it's still leaking, Mark? Take this off. And then we could palm over the end of the bag tee. And then we could push the flush button again. Oh, now it's not leaking anymore. So what this tells us is the bag is good. Now we know the hole must be in this fresh gas tubing. So appreciate you sticking around until the end. If you found any problems in your breathing circuit, leave them in the comments. Maybe somebody else in the community would be finding that interesting. Thanks. We'll see you again next time for another tip or trick on MedGas Mark.